Right, welcome back, everybody. So glad you're with us and really excited about our next guest going into the national championship game in 2025. We got a guy that won a national championship back in 1997. In fact, he has his number 10 retired by the University of Arizona, the team that he won that title with, had a 15-year NBA career as well, was also a Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year, rather, in the Pac-10. And nowadays, he's the head coach of Sacramento State. Joining us here on the program is Mike Bibby. Now, Coach Mike Bibby. Coach, how we doing?
I'm doing great. And it was 14 years, not 15. It might have been really 13 because I didn't really want to play the 14th, but I played it because it was Knicks, so I had to feel like it was going to play like in New York.
All right, sorry. I glossed you an extra year there. I thought I was doing you a favor, but you want to make sure that you have got this down to a T, which is funny because you are known about your meticulous detail. Everybody that knows you, especially about coaching and playing, says, now to a T, down to the detail, that's what Mike is all about. So where does that come from? Perhaps your dad, perhaps another coach that you played for over your years?
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say it's OCD, but that's just who I am. If something isn't right, I like to make sure it's right. I'm a very habitual person. I like to do stuff and it's habit. I'm a creature of nature. That's just the way I am. Like if you practice perfect, then you're going to want to play perfect. And that's the way I've always thought in the games. And, especially with younger kids, if you don't teach them something every day, their mind is going to go back to their old habits. So what I like to do is I like to put them in a situation. We'll always start practice with defensive rotations just to get the kids in the motion and the habits of jumping back and forth and being able to help. So our team is going to start with defense. We're going to set off with defense. I wasn't a superstar defensive player when I played, but I know how to coach it.
Mike, I tell you that the question everyone's going to have is why? Okay, you had a really good NBA career. You could call games for television or radio. Obviously, you have a lot of other options over the course of your life, but Sacramento State also has not had a lot of winning. It's been a long time in Division I and very few winning seasons. So why was this the right time to take this job? Because, as you said, you were knocking on the door of the athletic department for a couple of years about this opportunity.
It's God's timing, and I always look back and, I see the situation now. Like, there's been a lot of things that I went out for that I didn't get. And the thing was like, I'd always say, why can't I get this? Why am I having trouble doing this? Why can't I get a coach? Why can't I do this? And now I realize that it was all for this reason, to go back to Sacramento, to get Sacramento on a winning schedule, a winning pace, and bring basketball to life with Sacramento State.
You had so many great years with the Sacramento Kings, and so you're part of the culture there. You're part of the basketball culture there. But, man, Sac State is a different beast. This has been a toil for them. And so this is a unique time in college basketball, NIL, transfer portal, etc. Why, when you say it's God's timing, why is this the right time? Because people could argue, man, this is the toughest time to be the head coach at a place like Sac State.
Like, I don't know. Like I said, the time came up, and I've been on it for a long time. And, I'm not scared of a challenge. Everybody was coming at me and trying to tell me situation, how hard it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of work. I have no problem working. I have no problem facing challenges. I have no problem wanting the best for a situation that doesn't look as bright as other people would like to take it. I don't mind being behind the eight ball. I've been behind the eight ball for a long time in my life. And it's just something that I want to embrace. And, President Luke Wood and Athletic Director Mark Orr are changing things around there at Sacramento State. And I'm glad that I could be a part of their change.
When you had your introductory press conference, you said, hey, I'm cool with guys getting money, NIL, totally cool. But this transfer portal thing, you don't love to see this much change or movement with the players. What is it about the portal right now that's such a headache for all coaches?
It's just, just for me, it's just, like I said, the older guys are brought up a different way. I like to be held accountable. When I saw adversity, I didn't run from it. I wanted to embrace it. I wanted to make myself better. I went when I was going to the University of Arizona, Jason Terry was there. He was their starting point guard at the time. And there never one time in my mind or thoughts was for me to ask Coach Evans or Coach Olson am I going to start? If I'm going to start, I don't want to go. You know what I mean? There was never a question that I put myself in. My mindset was, I'm going to start. I'm going to work as hard as I can. The first day I got to the school, me and Josh Pastner were in the gym by ourselves, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, just shooting by ourselves, shooting hundreds and hundreds of makes. So I wasn't going to let somebody starting ahead of me divert me from wanting to go a different school and be scared and run from that, because everybody is running from the situation now. They're running from adversity to where if time starts getting tough, I'm going to go try to find it where it's somewhere easier. You know what I mean? And that's I wasn't built like that. I wasn't born like that, and it's just different for me. I don't like seeing it.
So the transfer portal is going to hurt coaches, but it's also going to help coaches, and you've benefited from it. Shaquille O'Neal, which is Shaquille's son, is going to come to you guys and play, and this is quite ironic because if we dialed back 20-some-odd years ago, you and Shaq and the Kings and Lakers, that is one of the most heated rivalries in the NBA. So was it at all weird to get on the phone and be like, hey, I got to make sure your dad is cool with this because, like, way back when, it might not have been that cool?
No, we talked before, even before this situation come up. We've talked before and ran into each other before. And, it's just part of the game. The trash talk is part of the game. That just shows what type of players we were. Like, we were out there and there was no friends for us. Like, we weren't I had friends that when I played against, I wouldn't really talk to them on the court. I wouldn't let nobody see us talk to them on the court. That's just the way that, the NBA was back then. Obviously it's changed, but that's just the process of, like, if we're on the court and you got a different jersey on me, whether you're my brother, you're my cousin, you're my dad, I'm going to try to win and do my best to beat you up.
You guys got robbed in 2002. Completely robbed.
Oh, we know it was tough. It was tough, but we had a chance to win Game 7. We kind of didn't have a great game that game, but just shows you how great of a team we were to take the three-peat champions to overtime and have such a bad game. It just shows you how good we were. I think we were definitely the best team in the league that year. We had the best record, and we just got shysted.
Totally shysted. That's the perfect way to put it. Totally shysted. It's funny you bring up Josh Pastner because we just had him on last week, and he just took over the UNLV job. So you guys had multiple coaches on that team. I mean, and Jason Terry also has always been known as kind of a student of the game, a coach on the floor, etc. What was that? Why was the 97 Arizona Wildcats marked with so many potential future coaches?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I mean, Coach Olson probably had a lot to do with that. He was one of the best coaches I've seen and played for. It's the fact that he brings the best out of you. He didn't care about mistakes. He knew mistakes were going to be made. Some nowadays, I've had situations with my son and seen other situations to where coaches, if you make one mistake, you're out the game. And that's not the best. That's not you can't get the best out of your player that way. By him always looking over his shoulder. So with me, with Coach Olson, he always let us play. We played with confidence. And, what got me going in the tournament was, he kind of brought me up in front of the team and it was like, I was kind of hesitant. We got Dickerson, we got Miles Simon, we got Jason Terry on our team. I kind of was sitting back, kind of laying low. And he told me, like, hey, Mike, I need you to do what we recruited you to do when we saw you playing in high school. We need you to be that Mike Bibby. And, ever since he said that, I opened up. And I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you need to hear from your coaches. You need to hear that they have your back and they're confident in everything you do.
I'll tell you, that team was so great, but we never thought that was going to be the last West Coast team to win a national championship. I mean, back in the 90s, the West Coast had it on lock. UNLV back in the early 90s. UCLA won in 1995. You guys won in 1997, but we have not had a team win a national championship in the Mountain Time Zone or the West Coast since that 97 squad. How mind-blowing is that for you?
It is. It's very mind-blowing because, you got a lot of good players that come out the West too. And, I mean, I don't know what that pertains to of why that happens, but you get good teams. A lot of teams on the East Coast. You got some good teams in the West. But as you said, that little stat right there just shows you that the East is dominating right now, and the West has to pick it up a little bit.
March 31st, 1997. I'm living in New York. I grew up in New York, and I'm a senior in high school. And there is a massive storm, spring storm, that rips through and knocks out our power. And so I am watching the national championship game on TV, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not missing this national championship game. What the heck? Wait and wait and wait, and no power comes back. Eventually, I'm like, radio. I end up listening to the rest of the title game on the radio as my parents are lighting candles in the house. We got no power, we got no lights, but I'm on this little radio in my bedroom in high school listening to that. What are your memories of that night in 1997?
It was just surreal. I didn't know what to expect going out there. Like I said, I was a freshman and played in the big games. We beat Kansas, we beat Providence. We struggled in the first two games of the tournament, and just going there, I just remember walking down like, wow, there's about 80,000 people here in this gym, and it's just crazy. And with me, I didn't even think twice about it. I just like, I'm supposed to be here. I felt I was that type of level of a player to go out there and shine. And I just played basketball. I didn't really, like I said, Coach Olsen had our confidence so sky high, and we weren't supposed to be there. So there was really nothing for us to lose. So we went out there and just played basketball, played the way we played, and we pulled it off.
4 seed, knocking off multiple 1 seeds, and Lutz national championship. That was a special team. You said that you wanted to bring a Deion effect to Sacramento State, that you're going to have NBA players, current NBA players, come to watch these kids at Sac State. Tell me about that vibe, why that is a goal of yours.
It was just what he did for a smaller school. Deion came in, that if he wasn't there, probably some of those guys wouldn't have ended up there. I want to have that same effect here. We've got some guys coming in and some guys that will have come there that no one would have expected them to be there, and they're there for us to turn that thing around and let them play. A lot of these guys think going to these big colleges and thinking they're going to play, they're getting promised they're going to play, and then it's easy to throw $1 million at somebody and not playing because you're at these big schools, and these kids don't realize the biggest thing for them is to go out and get some time on the court, go play, go get some competition, show everybody what you could do, and now you earn that spot, you play. Now everybody looks, okay, this is how he plays. Coming here, I'm gonna let these guys play. I'm not gonna hold nothing back. I want them to play to their full potential and develop guys. I want to be the best. I want to make Sacramento State one of the best teams in the country.
All right, I got a good hypothetical for you. You get Mick Cronin on the horn. And you're like, Mick, we got to get a home and home going. He goes, nah, we're not coming up there. We got to get a home and home going. He goes, we'll do 2 for 1. You do 2 down here in LA. We'll do 1 up there. You're like, all right, you got it. So you got UCLA coming to town. You got a 5-star kid that's going to come that you're recruiting that's going to be in attendance. You got to get on your phone, go through your contacts, and be like, what celebrities do I need to get in attendance for this game, or NBA players? You're like, this is the Deion effect times 10. This is what I'm doing. Who is it going to be that you're making those calls to get front row seat for this game?
There's going to be guys that are going to have – there might be some dads on the team that are going to play. Like we get Shaquille O'Neal in there and watch.
Okay.
Joe. You could go all the way down the line. This is going to be something special that we're going to make happen at Sacramento State. And it's all starting with Dr. Luke Wood, the president. He's turning this thing around. He's getting excited. He's getting everybody excited for football and basketball. So look out for football too. With the hire they have with Coach Marion in there, it's going to be something special there too.
C-Web, you think you get C-Web to the game?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be something special. Webb already told me he's coming to the game. We'll have some Sacramento Kings come to the game. People are going to be at those games, believe me.
Oh, okay. So you got some current Kings you got on the horn you want to bring to the game?
It's going to be a show out there. I told them, I said, I don't think there's going to be enough seats. We're not going to have enough seats for all the people that are going to go. So I think it's going to be a big time ticket in Sacramento.
Are you planning on an exciting brand of basketball?
We'll play full, we'll pick up. It'll be a fast-paced game. We don't want to put anybody to sleep. We want to try to score, 80 to 85 to 90 points a game. Scoring 50 points a game, 40 points a game, that's boring, man. Nobody really wants to see that. We want to get out there, put points on the board, and do it at the expense of our playing defense, playing tough defense.
All right, before I let you go, there's been a lot of questions about the NCAA tournament this year. We got all chalk. We got all these number one seeds moving through to the Final Four. We got one seeds of the national championship game eventually. We also have not had a lot of upsets in the early rounds, and people are wondering, wow, is this kind of the new college basketball where because of NIL, the wealthy school is going to have all the money, and they're just going to end up steamrolling the mid-majors and low majors? What do you see as kind of like a bigger picture view of college basketball right now in this tournament?
I mean, that's obviously what's happening, and hopefully I could show teams and show kids that you could still be a great player and be at a mid-level school and still, maybe go to the NBA, go to play overseas. It doesn't have to be all these big schools. Like I said before, like these big schools have so much money, they throw it at you. And sometimes these kids want to take the money, want the fast money, but it's not all about the money. You got to go out there and play. You got to go out there and get taught. I mean, a lot of coaches don't teach. I teach. I want everything to be particular. I want everything to be perfect. And I'm going to teach and make sure you do it the right way. So now if you do happen to go to that next level, they're going to look at this kid and be like, damn, he was well coached. And, and just show like the kid won't be behind the 8 ball.
And I think one thing that people might not realize is you've had so much success already as a head coach. As a high school coach, you won 5 state titles, 4 in a row. So for those wondering, okay, well, how much experience is coach going to bring to the table, man? You had real success consistently at the high school level. So I feel like this is going to work because you also know the modern athlete. Yeah, things have changed since you were head coach in high school for a few years, but overall, man, you understand how to press buttons on young people today, and that's a skill set not a lot of people have. A lot of people are lost on that front.
I care about these kids. It's not all about basketball. We're gonna recruit good students. We're gonna recruit good human beings. We're gonna recruit guys that want to graduate and turn you into a dog when we get on that court, and then that's the main thing. Like I care about these kids and I want the best for them. And I'm going to treat all these kids like they're my own sons.
Well, I tell you, this is a cool time for Sacramento State because, you got a big time hire as the football head coach, going to go D1 FBS in football as well. Cam Scatterbu, who's going to be one of the most interesting players of the NFL draft, began his career at Sac State. And now they got you that's on the sidelines for the men's basketball program. So a local hero coming home, all those great years with the Kings, and now you are back on the sideline in Sacramento for the Hornets. This is very cool. Coach, congratulations on the opportunity. This is so cool to catch up with you. We will be certainly watching, man, and I wish you the best of success. And when you have it, we'll have you back on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on, too.